Have you ever looked at someone, after all the heartbreak, the broken trust, the years of silence or struggle, but still thought, I want to grow old with you? Maybe trust was lost through an affair, or maybe it just faded slowly, chipped away by unspoken resentment, repeated disappointments, or years of not feeling seen. And at this stage in life, the wounds go deeper because you've invested decades, shared milestones, and built a history that isn't so easy to walk away from. But losing trust doesn't have to mean losing the future you still dream of together. In today's video, I'll walk you through clear, compassionate steps to rebuild trust, reconnect emotionally, and create a love that feels even stronger because it's been tested and chosen again. If you're ready to stop the doubt and start repairing your relationship the right way, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any insights. Let's dive into the first key step to restoring trust.
1. The foundation of radical honesty. Trust can't be rebuilt on half-truths or vague promises. It requires radical honesty. This doesn't mean brutal, hurtful honesty, but rather a consistent commitment to transparency in your words, actions, and intentions. Every time you hide your feelings, avoid difficult conversations, or sugarcoat the truth, you chip away at the very foundation you're trying to rebuild. Radical honesty is about being fully present and accountable in your relationship. It's telling the truth even when it's uncomfortable, acknowledging mistakes without excuses, and sharing your needs openly. When both partners practice this level of authenticity, it creates a safe space for vulnerability, encourages mutual respect, and lays the groundwork for deep and lasting trust. The ancient Stoics understood this. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Never esteem anything as of advantage to you that will make you break your word or lose your self-respect." Radical honesty means we stop protecting our partner from who we really are, flaws and all. Without honesty at the core, every effort to repair the relationship risks being temporary or superficial. Radical honesty is the soil in which trust grows. Without it, nothing else can take root. Trust cannot be rebuilt on half-truths or vague promises. It requires radical honesty. This doesn't mean brutal honesty that wounds your partner, but a consistent commitment to transparency in your words, actions, and intentions. Every time you hide your feelings, avoid difficult conversations, or sugarcoat the truth, you slowly erode the foundation you're trying to rebuild. Radical honesty creates a safe environment for vulnerability. When both partners are open about their thoughts, feelings, and mistakes, it fosters respect, understanding, and a sense of emotional safety. Without it, any attempts to repair your relationship will remain surface level. Daily truth-sharing ritual. Spend 5 to 10 minutes each evening sharing one truth you've been avoiding. Not accusations, not blame, just honest feelings. For example, "I felt scared when you didn't reply last night." Or, "I've been worried that I'm not contributing enough to our relationship." Use I statements. Focus on expressing your feelings and experiences instead of pointing fingers. This reduces defensiveness and opens a constructive dialogue. Transparency in actions. Small, consistent actions matter. Follow through on promises. Admit when you slip up, and clarify intentions to avoid assumptions. Check-ins. Weekly or bi-weekly conversations to honestly review how you're both feeling in the relationship, what's working, and what still needs attention. By embedding radical honesty into your daily routine, you transform the connection. Misunderstandings decrease, empathy grows, and trust begins to rebuild, not as a forced repair, but as a natural consequence of authenticity. What truth have you been avoiding? Because until we can be honest about our own hearts, how can we expect our partner to trust us with theirs? This foundation of honesty becomes the bedrock for everything else we're going to build together. 2. The practice of patient listening. Building on that foundation of honesty, we discover something profound, the art of truly hearing each other. And I don't mean just waiting for your turn to speak. I mean listening with the patience that only comes with age and wisdom. Rebuilding trust isn't just about speaking your truth, it's equally about listening. Too often we focus on explaining ourselves, defending our actions, or convincing our partner that we're right. But trust is restored when both parties feel heard and understood, not judged or dismissed. Patient listening is the bridge between honesty and healing. When your partner feels truly heard, it's more than just catching their words. It's an emotional signal that they matter and their feelings are valid. Their walls begin to drop, tension eases, and old resentments lose their grip. Genuine listening creates a space where empathy can flourish, allowing both of you to connect on a deeper emotional level. It demonstrates that you respect their perspective, that you're willing to see the world through their eyes, and that your commitment to the relationship goes beyond defending yourself. You're invested in understanding them fully, not just having your own point acknowledged. When your partner needs to express their hurt, you listen without interrupting, without explaining, without defending. You reflect back what you hear. So what I'm understanding is that you validate their experience even when it's painful for you to hear. Here's how to practice patient listening. Set aside distractions. When your partner speaks, put down your phone, turn off the TV, and give them your full attention. Eye contact and open body language signal that you are fully present. Mirror and clarify. Repeat back what you heard in your own words. Say things like, "So what I'm hearing is," or "It sounds like you felt." Pause before responding. Resist the urge to jump in with your defense or solutions. Take a breath, let their words sink in, and respond thoughtfully rather than reactively. Validate emotions, not just facts. You don't need to agree with everything they say, but acknowledge how they feel. Say things like, "I can see why that hurt you," or "It makes sense you'd feel that way." This builds emotional safety and trust. If this sounds challenging, remember, we have decades of life experience. We know that sometimes the most important conversations are the hardest ones. Are you willing to listen with the same patience you'd want if the roles were reversed? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'll read all. And here's where it gets interesting. This deep listening actually connects to something even more powerful, which brings us to our next insight.
3. Creating new memories together. You know, there's something truly beautiful about growing older with someone. Decades of shared memories, laughs, trips, late-night conversations that only the two of you understand are meant to be treasures, proof of love and connection. But when trust is broken, those very memories can become painful reminders, highlighting disappointments, broken promises, and old wounds. That's why it's so important to actively create new memories, moments filled with sincerity, connection, and joy. These new experiences don't just heal the old pain, they rebuild trust, strengthen your bond, and make your shared journey richer and more meaningful than ever. My cousin Eleanor, who's 72, put it perfectly after she and her husband Thomas worked through his gambling problem. She said, "We couldn't erase what happened, but we could write new chapters." Thomas had broken her trust with years of secret bets and mounting debts, and at times it felt like everything they'd built together was crumbling. But instead of letting the past define them, they consciously chose to create new memories, small, deliberate moments of honesty, accountability, and shared joy. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't instant, but slowly, those daily rituals, morning coffee chats, evening walks, and transparent conversations about money began to rebuild the foundation of trust they thought was lost forever. The ancient Greeks had a concept called kairos, not chronological time, but the right or opportune moment for something. After betrayal, we reach a kairos moment where we can choose to create fresh experiences that aren't tainted by the past. Eleanor and Thomas started small. They began taking evening walks, something they'd never done in 45 years of marriage. They visited places they'd never been together. They created new rituals, new inside jokes, new ways of connecting. Neuroscience research shows that shared novel experiences release bonding chemicals in the brain, literally rewiring our connection to each other. But these new memories can't be forced or artificially created. They need to grow naturally from authentic moments shared together. It's not about grand gestures alone. Sure, a weekend getaway or a special date can spark connection, but the real healing happens in the everyday rituals. A 5-minute morning coffee together, a walk after dinner, a quick check-in text that says, "I'm thinking of you." These small, consistent acts are the building blocks of renewed trust. They show that you're present, that you care, and that you're committed to creating a relationship where both of you feel valued and safe. Over time, these tiny intentional moments accumulate into a rich tapestry of shared experiences that mend old wounds and cultivate lasting connection. So far, we've talked about honesty as our foundation, patient listening as our practice, and new memories as our building blocks. These 3 elements work together, but they require something most people overlook, and that's what I want to share with you next. It's the thing that surprised me most about rebuilding trust.
4. The power of consistent, small actions. Trust isn't rebuilt through grand gestures or expensive gifts. It's rebuilt through what I call the accumulation of small consistencies. About 5 years ago, I made a promise to my wife that I broke. Not maliciously, but through carelessness and pride. I could see the disappointment in her eyes, the quiet hurt that no words could mask. Her trust, once steady and unwavering, felt fragile, like a vase on the edge of a table, beautiful but easily shattered. I wanted to fix things immediately. I planned elaborate apologies, bought expensive gifts, wrote long letters, yet nothing worked. The deeper issue wasn't the broken promise itself, it was the erosion of faith, the subtle but piercing doubt that maybe I wasn't the person she thought I was. That realization hit harder than any scolding or argument ever could. Then, my wife said something that stopped me cold. "Vernon, I don't need you to prove you love me with big gestures. I need you to prove I can count on you with small ones." This connects to something the philosopher William James wrote. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. But I'd add this. It's also measured in the 1,000 tiny moments in between. Research from UCLA shows that trust is rebuilt through what they call micro-interactions, the small, daily behaviors that demonstrate reliability. Calling when you say you will, being where you say you'll be, remembering the little things that matter to your partner. For me, it was making the coffee every morning and bringing it to her bedside, something I'd done inconsistently for years. It was putting my phone in another room during our evening conversations. It was asking about her day and really listening to the answer. These actions may seem small or even trivial on the surface. A kind word, following through on a simple promise, showing up when you said you would, but they carry immense weight in the long run. Relationship expert Dr. John Gottman calls this your emotional bank account. Every thoughtful gesture, every reliable action is a deposit, slowly rebuilding what was lost. Each kept promise, no matter how minor, sends a quiet but powerful message. I am dependable, I respect you, and I am committed to this relationship. Over time, these consistent small acts accumulate, restoring faith, softening old wounds, and laying a solid foundation for trust that can withstand future challenges. We have the patience for this process. We understand that worthwhile things take time. We're not in a rush to move on to the next relationship. We're invested in healing this one. Start by establishing daily rituals, like making morning coffee, sending a thoughtful message, or having dinner together, phone-free. These consistent habits create reliability your partner can count on. Next, remember and follow through on even the tiniest promises. If you say you'll call at 8 p.m., make sure you call, because repeated small commitments send a strong signal of dependability and respect. What small promise can you make and keep today? Leave your comments and save this video so you can revisit it later and put these steps into practice more easily. Because this daily choice to be trustworthy in little things sets the stage for the final and perhaps most challenging aspect of rebuilding trust.
5. Forgiveness as a daily choice. We come to the heart of it all. Forgiveness, but not the way most people think about it. Forgiveness isn't a single moment of grace. It's a daily decision to choose love over resentment, hope over bitterness. Rebuilding trust isn't a one-time event. It's a daily practice, and at the heart of it lies forgiveness. Forgiveness doesn't mean ignoring hurt or pretending nothing happened. It means consciously choosing to release the weight of past betrayals so you can move forward. Every day, you decide whether to hold on to resentment or to act in a way that prioritizes healing over blame. It's about saying, I acknowledge the pain, but I choose to invest in us anyway. This choice is powerful because it resets your mindset, shifts the focus from past mistakes to present actions, and signals to your partner that growth and restoration are possible. Over time, these daily acts of forgiveness weave a resilient fabric of trust, allowing both of you to feel safe, valued, and emotionally connected again. The ancient Persian poet Rumi wrote, "Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you. And do not worry that your life is turning upside down. How do you know that the side you are used to is better than the one to come?" Forgiveness at our age carries a weight that younger people can't fully understand. We know how precious time is. We know the cost of holding grudges. We've learned that bitterness is a burden we carry alone, while forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves. But research from Stanford University reveals forgiveness is literally good for our health. It lowers blood pressure, reduces stress hormones, and strengthens our immune system. At our age, we can't afford the physical cost of holding on to resentment. This isn't about being naive, pretending everything is fine, or overlooking warning signs that indicate deeper issues. True forgiveness is a conscious balance. It allows your partner the opportunity to demonstrate their commitment and rebuild your trust, while also giving yourself the compassion and patience to heal at your own pace. It's a way of protecting your emotional boundaries without holding on to bitterness, and it acknowledges that rebuilding trust is a two-way process, requiring accountability from them and self-care from you. By approaching forgiveness this way, you reclaim your power in the relationship rather than surrendering it to past hurts. Now, let me tie all 5 of these together. Radical honesty gives you the foundation. Patient listening builds the connection. New memories create fresh possibilities. Consistent small actions prove reliability, and daily forgiveness provides the grace to keep going when the process gets difficult. These aren't just relationship strategies, they're life wisdom. They're the lessons we've earned through decades of living, loving, and learning. And they work precisely because we have the maturity to understand that love at our age isn't about passion, it's about choice.
So, rebuilding trust in your relationship isn't about erasing the past. It's about creating a future worth staying for. At our age, we have something younger couples don't: perspective. We know that every relationship faces storms, and we have the wisdom to weather them. The 5 ways I've shared: radical honesty, patient listening, creating new memories, consistent small actions, and daily forgiveness. These aren't just concepts, they're practices that require the kind of patience and wisdom that only comes with living. Your relationship might never return to the exact version it was before trust was broken, and that's okay. The beauty lies in the transformation that's possible. When you commit to rebuilding, confronting the pain, and practicing honesty, patience, and consistent care, the bond can evolve into something far deeper and more authentic, like a bone that strengthens as it heals from a fracture, a relationship that endures the trials of broken trust can emerge stronger, more resilient, and more connected than it ever was before, rooted not in perfection, but in the courage and commitment to grow together. I want to ask you to do something. In the comments below, share one small action you're willing to commit to this week. Not for everyone else to see, but as a commitment to yourself and your relationship. And if this resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss more insights that can help strengthen your bond. Remember, we're not just rebuilding trust. We're modeling for younger generations what it looks like to fight for love with wisdom, patience, and grace. Our years are not behind us. Our best chapters may still be unwritten. Until next time, choose love, choose growth, and choose each other. This is Vernon, reminding you that wisdom is not knowing what to do next. It's knowing what's worth doing at all.